The inauguration of Donald Trump as the 47th President of the United States is set to take place on 20 January. After this event, the President and his administration will assume office and start to implement the policies and programs that they promised the American people during the campaign trail. As all this happens, it is important for us to study closely and understand how policy is made and executed within American federal government. In particular, it is important for us to understand the challenges faced by decision makers in government as they attempt to work through different instruments of governance. Federal bureaucracy, state and local governments, contractors and regulated businesses, and governments of other countries. It is also important for us to understand the interplay of decision makers in Washington, the President, Congress, the judiciary, lobbyists, and the media, as they attempt to shape the substance of federal policy. In this special episode of the book series, we learn about a new course on public administration. This is a 4 credits course that you can sign up for by clicking the link that is right in the description panel on the upload for this video. Enjoy. Professor Roberts, thank you so much for making the time. The last time that I saw you was when you published Superstates.
That's right.
We were talking about Superstates, published by Polity, and it received some very good reception with our followers, with our audience. This is obviously the reason why you are also back here to talk about your class, Public Administration SPP320, right?
Right. It's SPP320, it's Public Policy 320, or Political Science 320. It's cross-listed.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's great. So I want us to talk about this class, but let's just start with the introductions first. I know that some of our people know you already, but there are obviously other new students who are going to sign up for the class who would also want to know you. So just tell us about yourself, what you have been teaching in the past, the books that you have published, and the research that you do.
Sure. Well, my name's Al Roberts, and I'm a Canadian citizen, but I've been working in the States for many years. I've been teaching in the realm of public policy and public administration since 1989, so for about 35 years, and taught a lot of different universities in Canada and the U.S., and my interest is in governance broadly, how you set up governmental systems so that they work effectively, which is one of the core questions that we look at in this course.
That's amazing. That's very good.
And I should say, too, that if people want to know more about my background and the books I've written and so on, my web address is aroberts.us, and there's all sorts of information there.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I can see that you pasted the website on the course outline, so when we share it, many of our students are going to get to know, but thank you so much for that.
Sure.
So tell me about this course. Just briefly tell me what you consider to be the core contents of the course and what students will learn from this.
Sure. So I'll start with the puzzle of the course.
Okay.
We mentioned a moment ago this book I published in 2023 called Superstates, which was looking at a set of really big countries, the United States, China, India, and the European Union. Not strictly a country, but a big political system. And I said, these systems are unprecedented in human history. We've never built political systems as big and complicated as systems like this. So in this course, I'm basically looking at one of these systems, the United States, which is an incredibly complicated piece of machinery, governmental machinery. It's got 90,000 different kinds of government inside the system. And the question is, how do you make a system this big and complicated work well? And one of the evaluative questions is, can you make it work well? There's a lot of people who worry that the American system of government isn't working well today. So what we want to do in this course is basically understand a bit about how the American system is designed, what are the ideas that motivate the design of the system, how does it work in practice, and then we want to think about the evaluative question of, does it work well enough, and how could we fix it if it doesn't?
That's interesting. I think it's a timely course. You know, given that we have a new administration assuming office after 20 January, this is going to be very interesting. Do you plan to cover a lot of that activity around the Trump administration?
Yeah, this is an incredibly timely course. For two reasons. The first is that lots of people, whether they're on the left or the right, have this sense that something is broken with the American system. The diagnoses differ, but lots of people are concerned about the way the machine works. So, and then the other point too is we've got a new administration coming in later in January, and it has already announced its intention to think about redesigning the machinery of federal government in some important ways. And so one of the things we're going to be looking at several different points in the course is specific proposals that have been made by the Trump administration to reform one part of government or another, and think about whether those reforms are likely to make things better or worse.
Oh, that's great. That's so great. So now tell me a bit again briefly about the activities, the assignments. What will students get to do in the class?
So this is going to be a combination of elements in the course. I'm going to do a series of lectures. There'll be about 10 lectures that I'll do on different topics. And then we're going to have a series of what I call working sessions, where basically students are asked to do some background reading, look at some background resources, write 2-page memos about one practical question, usually a question about whether we should reform government one way or the other. And we get together and talk about those in groups. And we're also going to have some guest speakers coming into the course too. Yeah, we have at the moment 3 guest speakers scheduled to join us from Washington and elsewhere in the country to talk, and we'll do those by Zoom. And and one of the things I emphasize when we do these guest speakers is it's not just a lecture; it's an opportunity for students to ask questions and engage directly with the speaker.
That's good. And these are people that are actively involved in policy making?
I don't think this year, we don't have anybody who's actually in the administration this year, but we do have folks who have been lobbying for specific changes or specific aspects of policy, one way or the other.
That's good. Yeah. That's still good. What's the target audience of the class? I do know this is a class offered in the political science department, but who do you think can greatly benefit? Can anyone, maybe people from history, people from economics, if they are interested, are they able to sign up for the class?
Sure. This is an undergraduate class, and it's offered, it's cross-listed, so it's offered as SPP320, that's through the School of Public Policy, and also as Political Science 320 through the Department of Political Science. It doesn't assume background knowledge. But if you're in the areas of public policy or political science, this would clearly be a great foundational course. But even if you're not, you don't need a background in American government or public policy to take the course. And even if you just want to kind of get a primer on how American government works and what the Trump administration might want to do, for example, or if you wanted to kind of explore the question of why this big, complicated machine doesn't seem to be working as well as it might, this, I think, would be a great introductory course.
That's great. That's great. Lastly, Professor Roberts, I just want you to talk about the required texts. I know there's probably a longer list of the material that you want the students to interact with, but probably there's some main books or main literature around this which can help people understand the American government.
So I don't have a required textbook for the course, and what I do for each module, the course is divided into modules, and for each module I provide a background reading, and it's always open source.
Okay.
So everything you need for the course is going to be available at no charge on the website, and it consists of a lot of short articles drawn from different sources. Because a lot of what we're doing is ongoing. A lot of it's going to be newspaper and magazine articles or short news videos that reflect what's going on the ground.
That's great then. So that should be good. Professor Roberts, thank you so much for making the time. I understand you've been a regular on this show, so I greatly appreciate your support.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for your interest in the course, and Happy New Year.
That's nice. Thank you so much.